Okay, YouTubers, this is the Angryprepper. So, today we're going to discuss how this event is going to bring on a bad taste in everyone's mouth. No pun intended. So, guys, the World Economic Forum, of course, at it again, but they are stating that control over water is going to bring on a world government. This is going to bring on a world government that COVID and climate change couldn't do. And this is going to be easily done. And this is going to be done pretty fucking fast. Before you know it, we're going to blink. And the World Health Organization, the World Economic Forum, and whoever else is in charge is going to have control over the world's water source. And that's fresh water source, I might add. So, of course, guys, the World Economic Forum made this claim last year at Davos meeting. Not this past one, but last year. I just found this article, and I found where they were talking about suggesting that water control or control over fresh water is going to have one world government go into play because the world, as it is right now, will be fighting over water sources. Because everybody is going to start staking their claim into who owns what water source and who doesn't. This is why I suspect Chinese are buying so much land here in the United States, because they want to control a lot of the water sources or fresh water sources here in the United States. So, of course, guys, people are catching on to that, and now they're starting to out the Chinese. I can't believe this, but even liberal states like New York are starting to out Chinese companies. California, if I'm not mistaken, they're doing the same thing as well. But other countries are dropping the hammer on any Chinese company, LLC, subsidiary, whatever it is. They're dropping the hammer on it. So, of course, this is going to start a fight, without a doubt. Now, in the United States itself, we are starting to not go at each other's necks, but scratch that surface of fighting with one another over who gets fresh drinking water. We had California make the stupidest comment as to redirecting the Mississippi River so that that fresh water can go towards them. We have the Colorado River, which is now becoming a problem every year because it's not producing enough water from the snow caps that are melting because less snow or less ice is being formed or being created, if you will, in those mountains. So that's less water in the Colorado River, which in turn less water for farmers to grow food, so on and so forth. The World Economic Forum had already figured this out. The World Economic Forum probably already saw this years ago. The one thing I give credit to them is that they are very good at foresight. They can see shit well before it happens. Now, a lot of us preppers, that's why we prepare, we do the same shit. We see things down the line forming. And when it starts to form, we go, this isn't going to be a good deal. World Economic Forum does the same thing. But they do it in their favor and for them. And in turn, they start talking about how this water problem is going to be such a big problem that water wars are going to happen. Now, of course, guys, water wars, we've all heard about it. And we have heard that water being referred to as blue gold, which is going to be the next gold. Probably is right now as we speak. Now, of course, CEOs of certain companies, if I'm not mistaken, it was Nestle, he said this probably 10 years ago, stating that water is not a right. It's a commodity or luxury. With that, guys, if water is going to start becoming a luxury and not a right, and again, this is a CEO that said this a few years ago, the World Economic Forum is taking that same stance because they're trying to control all the water. Because, according to them, we don't have any rights to it. But they do. And once they get the rights to it, what does that mean for us? That means less water, or water is going to be rationed. Now, already, guys, the World Economic Forum talked about how they're going to ration meat, or we should have meat rationed to us. I forgot what the amount was. Some craziness, like 8 ounces a week or something like that. That the World Economic Forum is recommending how meat should be rationed out, or how we should be eating meat. 8 ounces a household a week. That's insanity. Some of us eat 8 ounces in one sitting. Anyway, they do want us to replace that with bug food, or bug products rather, sorry, right? Whether that's cricket powder and roach milk, or maggot powder, or maggot bread, however the hell they're trying to dress it up to feed us, doesn't matter. The World Economic Forum, guys, is already playing the game. They've been playing this game for a while, and the game they're playing is control our food source, control our water source. You control the water source, guys, you have the world by the balls. Hence, one world government. Because they're going to be fighting. Right now, countries would start fighting with one another over water sources. But if you have a one world government, that nixes the fighting with other governments. And now they are all on the same page. They're all working the same fucking bullshit. And now they don't have to worry about war, because war is definitely going to displace that resource, water. So if you have control over, if you have a one world government, guys, you no longer have war. You have people you can control. What else would they do? What else do they need to do? Right? So again, how do we combat this? This is the hard part. This is the absolute extremely hard part. To combat this, guys, will be almost impossible. Right now, they're tainting our water supplies as we speak. We have train derailments ever so often. We have forever chemicals in the rain, and now they found microplastic in rain cloud. They are intentionally poisoning our water so that we can't even collect rainwater. They are infecting, if you will, or polluting groundwater so that we can't drink that anymore. Because a lot of places, guys, interestingly enough, are being affected. A lot of water sources are being affected, and that's water sources that might be on your land or my land, right? And I don't have any land, just using that as an example. But my point, guys, is that they keep infecting or polluting, water sources, and then making sure that their water source is secure. There are water companies that secured land so that they can control that water source. You or I that have a water source on our land, or a fresh spring, if you will, on our land, will soon be contaminated, because they're going to continue these derailments, these accidental derailments. So how are we to gather water? How are we to barrel our water and keep it fresh? Now, a lot of people are going to sit there in the comment sections and go, you can filter it. You cannot filter forever chemicals. You can't. And to my understanding right now, it's even harder to filter microplastics that are in the water. Microplastic, guys, are being found everywhere. They had a open heart surgery a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago. They found microplastic in a guy's heart, and they found microplastic in a lady's brain. It's everywhere. That is the hard part. How are we going to drink and secure fresh drinking water when it's all being contaminated? Hopefully a filtering system will be able to filter this stuff out, and then we can get hands on it and store our water using that filter system. Though that filtering system is going to be super expensive, but it might be worth it in the long run. Anyway, guys, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching.